Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're looking at a clinical breakdown by Dr. William Call, all about a biological process that is quite literally your body's ultimate defense system. We spend so much time worrying about external threats to our health, right? But today, we are looking entirely inward at what is arguably the most powerful natural anti-cancer mechanism known to science. Oh, and real quick, if you want to keep optimizing your body, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more real health videos. All right, let's get into it. So think about this for a second. What if your body could actually eat its own diseases? Because, well, inside your body, right at this very moment, there is a mechanism hunting down abnormal cells. Yep, even cancer cells. And it literally consumes them. I know, it sounds straight out of a science fiction movie, but it is happening right now on a microscopic level. It takes these damaged cells, breaks them down into their raw molecules, and then, this is the crazy part, reuses those exact same building blocks to create fresh, healthy cellular components. This mind-blowing process is called autophagy. The word itself literally translates to self-eating. It acts like this microscopic Pac-Man, catching tiny cellular mistakes way before they can develop into serious diseases. And this isn't just some fringe theory, by the way. The 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded specifically for discovering exactly how this works. But here's the thing. Despite how absolutely crucial autophagy is, there is a massive misunderstanding out there about how to actually turn it on. Yeah, so we've been operating under a huge myth for a long time. People think autophagy only kicks in after days of extreme fasting or starving yourself. But you definitely do not need to starve to trigger this. The reality? It's switched on by very specific, everyday biological signals. The catch is that our modern, comfortable lifestyles actually suppress a lot of these signals every single day. We don't even realize we're doing it. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the cellular recycling center, the protein cycling strategy, temperature therapy using hot and cold, specific autophagy activating foods, and finally, the immense power of deep sleep. All right, Section 1, the cellular recycling center and how autophagy actually fights cancer. Look, cancer doesn't just appear out of thin air, right? It's the result of a series of microscopic cellular mistakes. And autophagy identifies and recycles those mistakes before they become dangerous. Inside every single one of your cells, you have these tiny internal quality control inspectors. When autophagy fires up, these inspectors roam around the cell, hunt down worn-out energy structures or damaged proteins, and trap them inside a protective membrane. Then, they haul that trash to the recycling center where it gets broken down. It is literally your body's frontline defense for stopping a healthy cell from turning cancerous. Moving right along to Section 2, the protein cycling strategy, or how to hack your mTOR pathway. So your cells are constantly keeping tabs on how much protein is available. They use something called the mTOR pathway. You can just think of it as a cellular energy sensor and growth switch. When mTOR senses that there's plenty of protein around, it totally suppresses autophagy. It basically yells, hey, time to grow. And honestly, overactive mTOR signaling is one of the most common pathways altered in human cancers. But when you lower your protein intake, mTOR quiets down. It shifts your system into this awesome protective recycling mode and clears away the cellular junk. The way you apply this is incredibly simple. It's all about healthy cycling. Research in the journal Cell Metabolism found that you don't need permanent protein restriction to get the anti-cancer benefits. You just need to cycle it. Just take one single day a week to eat way less protein than normal. Focus on your veggies, fruits, whole grains, and then just eat adequate protein the other 6 days to maintain your muscles. That's it. 1 day a week is all it takes to trigger that deep clean. Okay, Section 3, temperature therapy. Let's look at how hot and cold trigger cellular stress responses. When you expose your body to serious heat, we're talking 80 to 100 degrees Celsius in a sauna for 15 to 20 minutes, your cells freak out a little bit in a good way. They activate a protective mechanism by pumping out what we call heat shock proteins. This dramatic response massively cranks up autophagy to clear out heat-damaged proteins. And as it clears the debris, it actually exposes abnormal markers on the surface of unhealthy cells, making it way easier for your immune system to spot them and take them out. And the results of this are no joke. A landmark JAMA study found that frequent sauna users saw a massive 40% reduction in all-cause mortality. 40%! And researchers believe that lower cancer mortality is a huge contributing factor to that incredible statistic. But hey, on the flip side, we have cold exposure. Getting cold mobilizes your natural killer immune cells. And you don't need fancy, expensive ice baths for this. Daily consistency is key. Exposing yourself to cold causes this huge surge in norepinephrine, which activates an energy sensor called AMPK. AMPK acts like an emergency brake on that mTOR growth pathway we were just talking about. Less mTOR activity means fewer growth signals for abnormal cells. So the easiest hack? Just end your normal morning shower with 1 to 2 minutes of genuinely freezing cold water. Moving on to Section 4, autophagy-activating foods. Let's talk about spermidine and mitophagy. Now, you can actually eat your way to better cellular recycling. Things like wheat germ, mushrooms, soybeans, green peas, and even aged cheese. These foods are loaded with something called spermidine. Spermidine literally acts like a chemical switch that turns off the enzymes suppressing autophagy, and it specifically targets cells hoarding abnormal proteins, which is a huge red flag for precancerous cells. Actually, a massive 20-year study found that higher dietary intake of spermidine was independently linked to lower cancer mortality. Other foods like pomegranates, walnuts, and raspberries are amazing too, because your gut bacteria metabolize them into a compound called urolithin A. And urolithin A triggers a highly specialized form of autophagy called mitophagy. Basically, mitophagy goes in and selectively destroys damaged, oxidatively stressed mitochondria. Precancerous cells rely heavily on those damaged energy structures to multiply. So when you wipe them out, you are stripping cancer of one of its biggest early biological advantages. And finally, Section 5, the power of deep sleep, aka your body's nightly inspection. Deep sleep is the prime time for your immune system. That's when autophagy hits its absolute peak. It's when natural killer cells patrol your tissues looking for cells dividing weirdly. As a paper in Nature Reviews Cancer points out, disrupting your circadian rhythm, like having irregular sleep schedules, working night shifts, or just chronic sleep deprivation, is independently linked to significantly higher rates of multiple types of cancer. So yeah, the quality of your sleep directly influences your long-term cancer risk. So how do we fix this? You've got to lock in your biological clock. The best way to do this is the 45-minute rule. You need to keep your bedtime and your wake-up time within a strict 45-minute window every single day. Yep, even on the weekends. It sounds strict, but it's one of the single most effective ways to stabilize your internal clock, giving your body the uninterrupted time it needs to perform those vital cellular inspections. Dr. William also points out a pretty crazy stat. 80% of adults globally are not getting enough magnesium from their diets. If you're struggling to hit those deep, restorative sleep cycles where autophagy really thrives, supplementing with magnesium glycinate can be a huge help for promoting overall relaxation and better sleep quality. To put all of this into perspective, researchers estimate that nearly half, 45 to 50% of all cancers are linked to modifiable lifestyle factors. Think about how empowering that is. The choices you make every single day play a huge role in whether disease ever gains a foothold. And the current science shows us that we don't have to rely on extreme fasting alone. We get the highest levels of baseline autophagy by stacking these complementary habits. So I'll leave you with this question. Which of these everyday habits are you going to optimize today to help your cells protect you? Are you going to try the one-day protein cycle? Maybe brace yourself for that cold shower hack, or just finally commit to locking in your sleep schedule. The power to trigger your body's ultimate recycling center is entirely in your hands. Get out there and take control.